But behind closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Executive Geek Roundtable. It's been a while since we've been back. Welcome back, bitches.
Hello.
Yeah. Everybody tired today.
Oh,
Everybody sleeping.
It's
There you go.
hot.
See, look. Oh, there's a pop-up. I thought it was a pop-up. We're looking at random
It
news
is a
because it's
pop-up.
kind of what we do.
It's gotta be. They're gonna. Are they doing it because of the sequel coming out?
I know they did it like long before the sequel's even announced. Yeah, we're talking about random news because we're doing the show. But you guys, hey, it's been a while since we've been back. We are back. We, as you can see, we're in a new area, new place. We're actually just another part of the studio. And
Zamunda.
we're in Zamunda.
Yeah, Zamunda.
Oh, we're in Zamunda. I didn't know they had Scottish castle looks in Zamunda.
You know nothing of Zamunda.
I'm against
All right. Is Zamunda next to Wakanda?
That's a big dumbass.
So apparently Zamunda is next to Wakanda, and they use European-style castle structures for.
It came from the colonizers.
Oh, okay. So
well, here on Executive
They are from
Geeks,
Scotland.
we're kind of crazy. I had to say.
Wow. You a little rusty?
Yeah,
you just gonna throw in the dad joke?
Yeah, we're coming back in. I gotta warm up.
You gotta warm up.
Yeah.
I think a dad joke's a good warm up.
I don't like
It's not really a lie. I mean, it's not hard to make it land. You just
Of course.
if it's bad, it's good. If it's good,
I just gotta
it's
get
really
it out of my
good.
system while I can.
Wow, you've been hanging around your dad too much this week. You need to
Yeah.
just get yourself some space. Well, anyways, how have you guys been this whole time we've been gone? What you guys been up to? What's been happening? Who's alive? Who's dead? What happened?
Oh, I am quite well. I've been working on a lot of personal stuff.
Nice.
I think I'm in like a better place, like mentally, physically, emotionally.
Awesome.
My hobbies are seeing improvement, kind of just across the board. Like AD work is starting to pick back up again.
Nice.
So yeah,
Very
I've got some networking. I've been doing networking. That's what we say out here, by the way.
It's a job.
I hung out with some people.
It's more like 80%
That's it.
networking, 20% work.
It's pretty much what it is. So yeah, no, I've been just doing that, and like actually a lot of which was thanks to Julian over here, introducing me to some really cool people, and then just some stuff on my own. Thanks to Laura Post, by the way, one of the baddest fucking voice actors out there. So yeah, things are great for me. For the first time in a while, I feel like things are really, really good.
Nice. I like it. Sam.
Good luck following that up.
Yeah.
Don't start with a dad joke.
No, it's up to some potential projects here and there. I went to a script reading. Excuse me, do not interrupt me.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. That was hot. Look at you, see that? Woo! She got a little bit of confidence. I like that. Yeah.
I'm up to some potential projects here. Went to a couple.
She gonna cut you, fam.
readings.
Shadow, right? Yeah, what's up?
Went to a couple of table readings for
Nice.
projects.
Awesome.
At the end of this month, I'm going to be playing Typhoid Mary for a short film.
Nice.
Oh, sick.
Very fucking nice. All right.
So some ghost roles here and there, and then for the future, I've been networking, and I may get some other projects that I'm not allowed to talk about yet. But yeah.
Damn right.
Typhoid Mary that sounds like a boss character in some sort of Silent Hill game. Or
I
something.
know.
It's quite a dark, interesting character.
Gory.
Yeah.
Really like, demented. Like, I'm surprised Blumhouse hasn't done anything with it yet.
They don't have the rights. All right. Julia.
Take a look at this.
You know, the use.
What is the use?
My work is boring as hell. I sit at home in my booth and I read narration copy until I pass out. Not actually pass out.
Well,
Damn, that was a lot more interesting when he said it until he passed out. I was
like, what kind of copy are they giving you?
Really, really shitty copy.
Oh, because I was saying, what if you're like reading like Stephen King. That would.
Now,
be
see,
rough.
that would actually be cool, but then that would be an audio book, and I'd probably get paid less. So, So there's that. Thankfully, it's not that.
You can just imagine Julian just sitting there reading his narration.
I mean, sometimes. But you know what though? I don't want to sound ungrateful. I'm very thankful for the work that I get because it allows me to, eat regular food.
Yes.
And keep a regular roof over my head with a regular shower. And regular people who I live with. I don't have to live with a whole bunch of, skids and meth heads. I don't know, Bill might be a meth. I don't know. No, you Bill.
He does sort of exude meth head-ish qualities.
I'm bitten.
Just something
That's
always
way
been a
too
little
high.
off
You
about
got
that.
I'm Bill Butts. You gotta bring that down. You gotta register.
Lower a couple of octaves.
We all have to do our different versions of Bill Butts, but it gotta be low. It gotta come from like.
Like, I'm an alto. I don't think I can get that low.
Where does it come from?
Back of the
chest.
throat.
It comes from
For
the
Bill.
It's a diet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for Bill, it's like coursing through every ounce of his being. For us, for mere mortals, it comes from like down
Mere
here.
mortal.
Bring it from down here.
Bill Butts is like a state of being. It's not just a
A
voice.
state of.
When you think about it, the way he carries himself and how he talks, it's not just the voice.
We're gonna run a compilation of the state of being of Bill. The state of Bill. That's gonna be a thing.
That needs to be a t-shirt.
Like the state of Bill. Bill Butts, we love you wherever you are, dude.
Wherever your disembodied voice is.
Oh God, Elizabeth, what about you, Miss Lady?
So I've actually been kidnapped by him. Send help, please.
I had nothing to do with this.
Then
You are welcome.
Well, we're
Well, actually, no. Tell them how we met.
I think.
Okay, so we were on set for a film. I don't know if I can say what it is or
You
not.
can. There was a live stream for it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
So
You're
it's
just
a full
being
moon-
careful.
So it's Full Moon Productions, and this poor dude was in a stick-on thong for what, like 6 hours?
Yeah.
If you watched the stream, it was wild.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I was
no.
basically
And
naked.
there was a point where we had to put it on this older man who was not happy about it, and yes, he's like, "I am the Lord of Thong," and they were ridiculous. We had to keep gluing. Did we have to keep gluing it on you?
Yes.
We had to
quite
keep
a
gluing
lot.
it on the other
And
people.
I had to tuck,
Oh yeah.
which is very unfortunate and uncomfortable.
Were there a lot of exposed genitalia in the?
Well, my penis
Oh,
kept falling
chest.
out,
Oh boy.
so I had
I
to.
guess that's a good problem to have.
I mean-
if you must have a problem,
It
So
is.
she got
penis
to
keeps
see.
falling out.
She got to see me in a whole new light when we first met.
Yeah.
Is your food here? Run, go get it.
Yes. I have to get food.
She wanna get her food.
We're
Run.
filming a show.
Yes.
If you wouldn't mind.
Although, if you're joining us right
We're
now,
out of
please get
intermission
something
right
to
there.
eat.
So look, when she leaves, we want to talk mad shit about
No,
her.
you know what she's doing? She's going to the witness protection program.
Why you gotta make it sound like I'm a criminal? But no. We met because I was
Okay.
basically naked on set, being tortured and killed by Nazis. Because it's a, I don't know if it's a sequel or a remake,
Tuesday.
but it's a part of the Puppet Master franchise.
Oh,
I got to play,
yeah. Oh,
I got
sick.
to play one of the victims who got gruesomely fucked up and tortured, but I was naked and it was happy and awesome. I got
Nice.
to bleed from my eyes. I got to bleed from my mouth. I got to, it
Did you
was-
bleed from your penis?
I bleed. Well, my
He
penis
just had
was
to go
bleeding,
there.
but I mean,
I had to go.
that'll be
there.
He had to
BTS
go
footage.
down under.
Yeah. Well, it was really funny because I was so happy to
Acquiring
be naked.
minds, guys. Come on, really? Like
Like-
nobody at home was like, I wonder
Right.
if he bled from
Blood from his penis.
So that means he said every word.
Well, I was so happy to be naked that a director kept being like, "Hey, I know you're naked. It's okay. Most people are uncomfortable." And when it was my time to go, I straight up did the fucking Bruce Almighty thing. I'm ready. And he was like, "Jarrell's comfortable." And of course, and then because Alan was the guy who actually introduced me to John and got me the job. He was like, "Yeah, Jarrell, he won't have any problem being naked. Just keeping him with clothes on is going to be more of a problem than anything
One could
else."
say he's the king of nakedness.
Oh.
Take it all off. But no, it was a lot of fun.
It's like a toddler running around on set.
Right? Basically, it was because I was just in flip flops and a robe and got to be naked. But for me, it was actually a like a dream come true role because I'm a big Puppet Master
This movie is sick.
I
Man.
own
Movies
like
are
most of the movies still on VHS.
Nice. Which ones are your favorites? Obviously the original.
When they
It's not
switched
the
over
other
to Iron Cross, I thought it was really cool
Yeah.
because like the Iron Cross series was it was kind of wonky, but it still worked. It had like that old school like
Do
B
you not
movies.
seen Puppet
Have you
Master?
seen Puppet Master?
Oh, dude, they're cool.
It's like B movie, old school, kind of like slasher type weird.
But it was like serious when it came out. It was like it was
self-serious.
Yeah. And I remember watching them when I was a kid, and I was such a big fan. So like when I got the call for this, I was like,
So,
"Are y'all serious?"
Huh?
what you people have to understand is that although Julian is intelligent, I am a complete movie troglodyte. Okay, I know.
Troglodyte.
I don't watch
Word of the
shit.
day.
See, right? Word of the day.
We need like a little subtitle.
Troglodyte.
It's like troglodyte.
The more you know.
I tried to insult his intelligence right after you said that, but then you recovered and reversal EXDP'd me with the troglodyte.
Troglodyte.
It's like,
Yeah, I
That
can't
would be
even
the name of
spell
a
it.
Pokemon, though.
Troglodyte.
I choose you.
Yeah, Team Rocket goes, shit, I can't even spell that. Liz, where you at? We're talking shit about you.
You can be able to feed the viewers, the audience.
Why you putting her on the
Apparently,
spot,
damn.
though? Hey, they got you a 40 ounce in a plastic bag? I mean, bro, she came with a 40 ounce in the fucking bag and shit.
I'm just saying.
No, you gotta keep that in the bag. Don't break that out the bag. That got to stay there. That has to stay in the
The
bag.
irony, because
let
I'm
me hold
allergic to
you.
alcohol.
See, and that's a ginger beer, huh?
Yep.
Yep, I knew it because I know that. I use those as reeds. Yep, that's reeds. So
Good
yeah,
shit.
there's a 40 ounce.
Ginger.
Bro, okay, real talk. If they sold a 40 ounce of ginger beer, I'd be all about that.
I don't know that I've
yeah,
ever
we gotta go.
tried.
It's kinda cool.
Is it actually good?
Yeah.
Huh?
Do you
Even
want
if you don't.
ginger?
Nah, I can take
Do you want a
that.
sip of it?
Oh, the
That's
plastic
all
bag. Grab it.
but I will try it.
Grab it.
It's his pet peeve. Don't get.
You worried about that in the paper bag and just crinkling all of this shit?
I'm trying to
Like,
get all this out as quickly as possible.
huh? Jason hears it.
He's doing just fine. I'm sure there's
Jason
like
hears.
blood
What
coming
did you
out
get
of
to
his
eat? Because
ears.
now this is the thing. What did you got? Damn, is that a
Free
bug?
dessert. Nice. I have no
What?
idea what the fuck that
What
is.
is that? Grapes? What is that?
Grapes with some cherry
Something's
tomatoes?
gonads, apparently.
Something's go.
Aw.
What?
Or are
She's
those
eating
like the
testicle.
umeboshi flaws?
What?
I have
Wow.
no idea.
I don't know.
I don't remember seeing it on the menu. So,
Well, we're gonna talk to you while you're eating. So yes, about how we met and why you're here and how you've been.
okay. Now that I'm back with food.
And really get
Throw
get
it
into
back.
the details.
You just look back.
Just
Mostly,
really.
we literally were chilling like behind
Yeah.
the cameras
Yeah.
and talking, and he gave me the sweetest compliment that I have ever gotten, and it just made me so happy. Because he was trying to figure out what exactly I reminded him of,
Mhm.
and he said, I finally got it. You look like a sexy Milo Thatch from Atlantis and the Lost Empire.
You did with what you were wearing. It was like if Milo
I hugged
Thatch
him.
was like
I love it.
a super hot woman, and she had on the outfit too, and I was like a fucking sexy ass Milo Thatch. Holy shit!
Yes. Well, I specifically got these glasses because they made me think of anime characters.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, I love Milo. This would make me so happy. So yeah, and then I showed him my art, and yeah, the entire time he was in just this flimsy robe and a stick-on thong.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
How you meet Jarrell Hall?
And now I'm here.
It's funny.
Can
Our
you see
stories are
Julian?
similar.
No, okay. So I got this thing where like I hear weird like names and shit. Like stick on thong sounds like somebody's Xbox gamer handle.
Stick on thumb. Sound like
That's
it. Yeah.
Like I would enter a tournament as stick on thong.
Do it.
Yes,
Don't tempt me.
that should be a thing. That'd be amazing. All right. Yeah. So I mean, it's been great recently with our hiatus. I've been able to work on a lot of cool projects outside of what we got to do, and a lot more NDA things and cool things coming up. Dealt with a lot of personal things. Almost died. That was cool. So
I
yeah,
heard
yeah,
that story.
yeah. It's a
What?
thing.
You almost died?
I did almost die.
Just brushing over that.
But you're right.
Yes, I did almost die. Well, basically, is one thing a lot of people don't know about me is I have a lot of rare everything.
I'm gonna need you to stop.
You
I know,
are rare.
I know,
Including
right?
rare Pokemon.
I have I have a rare eye condition that allows me to see in the dark, but I also have a very rare heart condition to
Damn,
where
Riddick.
I know, right?
So you're a witcher then.
I am. My heart condition. What happens is that my heart can beat so fast it can pump a lot of adrenaline into my body
Okay.
and make me actually really strong. But at the same time, what it also does is it could cause me to die. If I don't keep it in check. And
So you're an X person, is what you're saying. You're
basically,
Yeah,
basically,
not like X-Men,
yeah.
just X-person.
Pretty much all the weird
Crazy.
things that you don't really think exist is somewhere in my family. That smells real fucking good too. Like, goddamn.
I think, is that like Palak?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. It's the spinach stuff.
Yeah, Palak.
Yeah.
How you know the name and you just ordered? Don't you know what the hell you got?
Indian food and yoga trainings.
Wow.
There's palak paneer.
I don't know what the fuck that
I knew
is.
it was made of spinach, so I knew it'd be good.
See, spinach, great. I love that.
Tikka masala.
Yes. I love that.
There's a little place in Long Beach. I have no idea what the fuck it's called, but it's basically like this spinach dish, but it's like super smooth and creamy and made with lamb. And oh my god, when I first had it, I almost cried.
So why
Yes,
did we
there's
not
different
go?
versions.
I mean, when we going? We got to eat. I'm hungry.
Wait,
What? He knows what it is.
Is it Open Sesame
no.
on 2nd Street? No.
What
No,
a
it's
name.
down by the
Wow.
beach.
Oh, no.
Like Pride.
He said, "No, no, no."
I don't remember what it's called, but it's.
I fucking
Have you
love
tried
that.
like a gobi Manchurian? Gobi?
No.
Okay,
Ooh,
gobi.
is that the cauliflower?
Yes.
Oh, that's just great.
Yes.
I just want food.
It
That
kinda-
might be paneer.
It's like kind
paneer's
of
the
deep-fried,
cheese.
Cauliflower.
If not,
but
you
it's
got the
like,
vegan one.
it's in like the sauce. It's kind of like it reminded me of like kung pao chicken kind of.
Yeah, but think cauliflower.
Fuck. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
gobi.
very good.
Oh, try that shit. Oh, damn. I love right there. Well, you guys, we have a lot to talk about this episode. We have a lot to cover. This is going to be more kind of like a news day and just catch up on everything because a lot has happened since we've been gone. Holy crap. I want to start off.
This was going to turn into a mukbang.
Right. I want to start off with some news that's a little bit more serious. Not too long ago, a good friend of ours, he's definitely a good friend of mine since like, oh my God, I think 2011, Mr. Robert Axelrod did pass. A lot of us, I don't want to say we knew it was coming, but we were hoping that he would find some ease in his life. You know, the latter years of life, he was not in the best conditions, but we are glad that he is in a much better place. Sending love out to all of his family. And of course, Barbara Goodson, who gave me the call early in the morning. We all love you. We all miss you, Mr. Lord Zed, and everything else under the sun because he did a lot. Rest in peace, buddy. We love you. We love you a lot. On to the next news. Now a little bit more disappointing news. So I just want to just talk a little bit about this fucking Popeye's chicken sandwich fucking...
I don't even know what's going on with that.
Okay.
I see things about Popeye's chicken.
So
and I'm just
basically,
like, this is like a thing now.
It's the NWO versus WCW.
Basically,
chicken sandwiches between Chick-fil-A and Popeyes.
Okay.
And what's crazy about it is...
There's factions and
There are literal chicken sandwich factions.
Like, it started off with funny memes, which I love my memes.
Yeah.
Memes are great. Memes are life. But then it started getting into robberies and arson.
Now
Yeah,
the people are
and
selling it off the internet.
It's selling on the
It's
internet.
not that serious.
And
People
prostituting
should
your
not be
children and
what?
hurting. Oh, it has happened.
Oh.
And hurting people over a $5.99 chicken sandwich.
Imagine I add, that's not even all chicken. There's probably a bunch of chemicals and stuff in that.
I don't care if it had penis hairs in it. This is my thing. Actually, I do.
Odd place to go. What an odd place to go.
This is the Try Guys video. I don't know anything else about this. What in the name of fun?
People have lost their minds. Like, they have had hour plus lines, people fighting,
I know there are
the
people
people in
suing.
the store suing. And the thing that gets me is there have been, I think now up to 17 or 18 people who have gone to jail surrounding a chicken sandwich. And I mean, I look at it like this. Just imagine walking up to the pen. And they could take you through processing and shit like that. What you in for, boy? Man, that chicken sandwich, bro.
Chicken sandwich racket, fam.
I mean,
Let's see, what's the news?
how hard? Look, guy holds up Popeyes at gunpoint for sold out chicken. It's a chicken.
What are you going to take?
So wait, so what is so this is like clearly this is like I'm starting to see something because they were out like the whole fucking time we were in like Vegas. They were
It was
running out.
chicken
Yeah.
tenders.
It was tenders.
Yeah.
So what's going on with the sandwiches then? They're just out of chicken.
Okay,
sandwich?
because they just started selling chicken sandwich
Uh-huh.
to compete with Chick-fil-A,
Okay.
and people are wilding out because Twitter.
Yeah,
That's really what it is. People are wilding out because everybody wants to stunt on social media about these dumbass chicken sandwiches.
And they've
Instead of
gone
just eating the
crazy.
motherfucking chicken sandwich like regular ass people.
It's like the fucking
They
Rick
got a
and
stunt.
Morty.
There's people buying like 50 of them
Szechuan
trying to
sauce
sell
thing.
it. Right, it's exactly that. People are
Fuck,
just
folks,
showing out
chill.
because of social media.
Y'all dumb.
And it's like, it's a chicken sandwich. Like, you going to jail?
And it's not like a
Chicken
5-star
sandwich.
quality at that.
No, I mean it's a good chicken sandwich from what I've heard. I still haven't been able to get one.
I ain't even interested now. I'm like,
Right, I don't care. I don't want all that shit. Look, I ain't trying to
get
get
a home. Damn.
right. I'm not trying to get clubbed over the head, slapjacked over the head,
Right.
because of damn shit.
I'll take the red beans and rice, and a biscuit,
And yo, look,
we'll call it a day.
I
I'm
said it
good.
earlier,
Give
I'll
me
say
some
it
blackened
again.
fucking ranch, and I'm good.
I'm gonna be real with y'all. If Gus's, go to Gus's Chicken.
Oh, that's a wrap.
Order the chicken strips.
That's a wrap.
Order an extra slice of bread. Right. Get some fried pickles and some sauce. It doesn't matter what sauce. Just some sauce. Spread the sauce on there. Put the pickles on there. Put the bread. Infinitely better than Chick-fil-A or Popeyes.
Yeah,
and I
really
like
should.
Popeyes.
Now be careful walking to your car tonight because you're gonna have some protesters trying to whip your ass.
I said what I said.
Like, yeah, I just don't understand it. Like, it blows my mind because I'm like, people, how did we get here? Like,
It's weird. It's like idiocracy. I mean, it is like
It is.
idiocracy.
Yes.
It's like kind of weird.
To be fair, we burn people for entertainment.
yeah.
Like it's
Oh god,
it's nothing new. It's just
Chick-fil-A.
new
Oh,
It's
yes.
fun to start on the
kinda
grill,
funny.
yo.
The Napoleon
Okay,
Dynamite
that is
one.
kind of funny though.
But that's exactly why. That's
Yeah.
what people want.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be a fucking meme now.
Yeah,
So
it's
who
a
can do the most
weird
ridiculous
time
shit.
Now,
to be
weren't
alive.
some of these like headlines taking place in Florida though?
Oh, of course.
But you know what I really don't get about this? People will stand in line for hours and storm and hold places up with guns, but they won't vote.
Right?
They won't
We're
vote.
gonna go there, people.
Damn.
Oh, you know I go there. I know it's been a while since we've been here, but you know I go there quick. Like, y'all motherfuckers is pathetic. Like, really? Then y'all talk about shit ain't right, but y'all do this for a chicken sandwich? Like,
We'll
I
all come
mean,
together to storm.
the election is
Area
coming up in
51.
a few months, my
This
niggas.
is why people came up with the idea for the purge.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, all right, look, man,
Yeah,
some
I
of these
can't even
stupid
laugh
fucks just
about
need
that
to
because it's
die.
true.
Like, I just don't get it. So yeah, that's my input on the chicken sandwich fiasco, and I had to talk about it because I'm like, I don't see how this has gotten that bad. Next up, I know we didn't start off with it, usually tradition, but we're gonna go back to it and got something special. We got to bring Florida Man back to the show.
Oh man.
We got to talk about Florida Man, but I got something a little bit different.
Now, what I want to know is, when are we going to get Florida Man on the show?
Well, we have 90 different versions of him, so let's
We
check
can
this
just
out.
let's just like get a dartboard.
Yeah, we're gonna do
just
something
We're
different.
gonna have to
Wait.
like
Right? Yeah,
That's
that's
just
yeah.
this year.
Yeah, the 90 wildest
And it's
Florida Man
not over
headlines
yet.
of 2019.
Remember, it's not over yet.
So we're gonna try to just get through the headlines. Okay, so let's see what
We
we got.
ain't reading on
So
that.
No, we ain't gonna get all 90,
yeah,
but
so like
we
it
just gonna see
practically
what we got.
so far.
Let's look at our top 5. What we got? All right, Florida Man shooting at Target backyard. His neighbor sitting at dining room table.
That's
Okay,
just
or
gruesome.
whatever. Florida Man doesn't get
Dining
straw
room.
attack. Okay.
Okay, I like January
All right.
5th.
Florida man arrested for hitting dad with pizza because he was mad he helped birth him.
I like the next
Wow.
one here. I like the next one here.
Florida man killed by ex-girlfriend while trying to get
Rid of the devil. All right.
Hey, in defense, that's that's a social service. We don't need any of that. Like, get him out of here. Get him out of here.
Oh, the devil is a lie. All
right.
right. Let's see.
We covered the rectum.
Yeah, the rectum one. I remember that one. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Burn
Florida
him.
man accused of burning his son to teach him a lesson about fire. Son, let me show you how this works. So you don't set your boy on fire.
Good lord.
How does that work, Jesus? Oh, God.
Oh, wait, no, 11.
Oh, my God.
Choose up.
Florida man chews up police car seat after cocaine. Nigga.
What did
You
it
sure it was
say?
cocaine?
I mean, he had to be
Are
on
you sure it was cocaine?
Those bath salts back down.
Oh, my God.
Florida man who drove Ferrari into water said
Jesus told him. Jesus took the wheel, y'all. Jesus really took the wheel.
Oh, Jesus made me walk on water,
This
not
one-
drive.
This one's like stupid. Florida man
Oh my
accused of
God.
luring kids tells cops he can't recall as he drinks 18 to 20 beers before talking to children.
That would kill you.
my
I'm saying your
God.
poor liver.
Huh.
There's no way in hell.
Caught on camera. Horses chase suspects in Florida. Okay.
Oh,
All
wow.
right.
There you go.
What the fuck? Woman ran over by a patrol car while lying in the road to watch the eclipse.
Oh my God.
Did you not see?
Okay.
Well, apparently the police officer
Were they
was
watching
watching
the eclipse
too.
car and get out, man.
Number 28 or January 28th. Florida man.
Oh!
Number 28th.
Florida man learns the hard way.
Why?
Florida man spent weeks in jail for heroin that was actually detergent.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh.
Oh, I'm hot already, y'all. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord.
I can't tell. Are those tattoos or did you get a marker?
That's your man right
What?
there. Yeah, that's your man.
That's what the pursed lips mean.
I don't know. Look, he looked happy.
Alright,
Punted a rabid coyote.
Kiss me.
Okay. Was it self-defense? Or was he just seeking out a rabbit coyote?
That's like an onion headline, man.
Right?
February 25th is disgusting.
Oh my
Florida
God.
man accused of smearing feces on Crunch Fitness bathroom sauna.
Oh.
Well, that'll teach him.
Yeah, that's not the word.
What's a
I used to work in a
Fitness?
gym. That's not the word to
Oh
say.
my God.
That's not.
Ugh.
I'm gonna let
What
you eat.
the fuck?
Look, there's nothing that phases me at this point.
Florida man tried to run over son because he didn't want to take a bath.
You gonna
Man.
wash your shit out and kill you.
Stand your ground, dog. I respect it. We will not go quietly.
We will not be
Boy,
clean.
you better take this man up for nuts.
Oh my
February
God.
10th, a rare day of peace.
Florida man caught on camera licking doorbell. What are you
Oh,
doing?
that shit. Oh my God, that's so
Oh
fucked
my
up.
God.
I don't need to see that picture.
Yeah, you
That's
did.
actually a very artistic picture. I quite like it.
That's why I listen to this kissing you saying.
Florida man fights off coyote with coffee cup.
Coffee.
Dang.
I
Okay, all right. I'm sensing an underlying situation here.
Oh my
These
god.
coyotes.
What the fuck is going on with the coyotes,
Coyotes, bro.
Oh, I lived in Arizona, like
Wait,
coyotes
in
everywhere.
TV.
They never fucking bothered
This
me.
guy
I
looked
could walk
like-
down the street, they'd be fine.
I feel like
February
Florida's
18th.
slowly becoming the Australia of America.
It is.
Yeah.
February 18th, rattlesnake carrying Florida man claims to be agent of God.
God.
It's the second coming of Moses.
Jesus Lord. Cocaine stuffed Lunchables. I'm gonna put it right there. Cocaine stuffed Lunchables.
Oh, that's
Just
I
little
almost
kids
wanna
just
see-
getting fucked up.
I almost want to see the interview with the guy.
Wait.
Well,
Man, those
Florida man
toilet-
goes toilet through
School
school board
board
building window in Illinois is arrested sitting on another? But that's not Illinois.
So wait. So a man from Florida throws a toilet through a school board building window in Illinois while sitting on another toilet?
That's amazing.
That's actually got like.
That's impressive. Like, that's a hell of a throw.
Like the
The 24th, another
the
day of peace.
implications of what that.
I think Florida has earned a day of peace. Oh
What?
my God.
February 28th.
Oh my
Florida
God.
man who allegedly threatened family with Coldplay lyrics and standoff after SWAT promises his visa.
Stop. We'll give you pepperoni. Extra cheese.
Oh my God.
Wait, I don't understand that
Florida
headline.
House Speaker apologizes for referring to pregnant women as host bodies and interest.
Oh, is he an alien?
Oh.
Now that might be the most Florida thing we've read.
Oh
this entire time.
God damn! Wow.
Is that him? Is that looking like
Yeah, it's
Grimace?
got-
You know you would.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
He looked like three little kids wrestling inside that suit.
He looked like he's a
I think
host
it's
body for
interviewer.
something.
I know. Well, I was saying, like, is he an alien? Is that like did the Area 51 thing? Like, it already happened. He came out and moved to Florida.
What?
Florida
the-
man rescues grandma floating away on ice throne.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
Man, what do they do in March?
Man.
Wait.
Fell asleep on couch while high. Wow. Broke into home. Wow. Okay.
Oh, we've made it through March. I
Yeah.
can't take no more.
I think we done with Florida man, y'all.
Oh,
That's our
God.
Florida man for the day.
For the day,
Man.
we will
just-
spare you the rest.
I do have fun facts about Florida man. What I
Yes.
told you earlier, I can
Yes.
actually confirm.
Okay.
So I won't say it here. What I did find out was the reason that we have so many Florida man stories is because Florida has like an open policy on official things, police records, as well as any sort of government talks. So like if you want to find out what the hell's going on with your government in Florida, you can find out. Like they can't even have private conversations. If it even touches on anything that has to do with the public, it's out in the public.
Interesting.
So, like, all of these articles, they usually say, according to police reports, that's because they can just email the cops and go, hey, I heard some shit went down at Walmart. Can you send me the report? And they just send it.
Wow.
And that's why we get the Florida Man reports. So it's actually,
wow.
It's funny because, it's fucking bullshit, but, like, any other state probably has stuff that would make that look tame.
Yeah.
But it does show that Florida has a very open policy, which a lot of states do not.
Yeah, Florida's pretty progressive.
Surprisingly enough.
With meth. With meth.
And cocaine.
Notice, like, a lot of these stories, I'm sure they will probably pop up down the list, but, like, I don't hear anything going on at Disney World with
Give
Florida.
it time.
Because Orlando is like, look, we just here. We ain't part of none of y'all shit. We got our own everything, our own infrastructure, our own water irrigation system.
We're our own country. For
Yes,
all
fuck y'all.
It's
like,
more. It's
We
more
got enough shit in
city state.
Disneyland.
Exactly. They're like, we ain't part of none of y'all.
It's like the Vatican.
Once you see the rest, no, it's like the White House. When you turn around and see the rest of DC, you go, oh, this is different. This is not very presidential. All right, y'all. So we're gonna get into some basically geek update news. There's been a lot going on in the geek world. My God, there's been some crazy things with the MCU, Phase 4 and Phase 5 coming. Some of the changes. Apparently and I actually can't confirm this, there is a possible new deal between Sony and Disney back on the table.
Y'all need to get that shit together because
Bring our boy
what the
home.
fuck you want us to do? Just pretend like the last 12 years didn't happen and Peter Parker's like not a person and he never interacted with it. What?
Well, this is
Not
my
their
thing
first time doing something like
on
that.
the Disney deal, because the funny thing about it, a lot of people forget, I broke that 3 weeks before it happened. And I had a lot of hate mail saying that I was crazy. I don't know what I'm talking about. Not remembering I have friends that work at both companies, but whatever. This the deal.
Why are you telling industry secrets though?
I didn't even tell secrets. I was telling a story that was actually already getting ready to break. So
But it ain't break yet though.
hey,
He's
you
always
gotta be
early.
first. Gotta be first. Like Denzel Washington said, you gotta be first. No, but this is my deal. This is my thing with the Sony thing. Because a lot of people are mad at Sony and, oh, you guys wrong, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, you have to remember something. When you are playing with someone else's property in their house, there's certain things you just can't do. Okay? Like, you go over somebody's house, they have different rules. They may let you use things, they may let you play with things, but one phrase I don't like is make yourself at home. Because I don't know how you live in your house. I don't know what you do in your house. I say,
I'm gonna stop saying that
guest.
shit today.
exactly. Because my thing is, because I don't know how you treat shit in your house,
That is fact.
treat this like it ain't yours. Okay? And Disney, because, they've seen some success, they started to go up in Sony's refrigerator, no shoes on, ain't brushed their teeth, ain't washed their hands, and just said, I just want to do what I want in your house. And Sony was just like, stop for a minute.
Such as.
Well, the thing is one thing they didn't tell folks about the deal, which some of the reports are now finally talking about now, is they didn't just want a bigger percentage of Spider-Man. They wanted full control and they wanted full merchandising rights. Because Disney, that's what they're all about. They're all about that motherfucking merchandise. They can give a shit about anything else. They want that merch. Okay? And then Sony was like,
Wait a minute.
we got a couple more years left on our agreement. You can't just come up and change the terms up in our house like you running things, because this is still our character. They was like, no, but we've been doing it well for y'all and y'all been taking too much money. Well, it belongs to us.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we taking more money. Do y'all give away a lot of y'all money on y'all characters at your home? Didn't think so.
Can I
And-
just say, so observation, so everyone's up in arms about Spidey. What about the Hulk?
I'm going to get to that in a second too. Because what was getting ready to happen with Spidey was exactly what happened with the Hulk. Because, see, one of the issues with the Hulk is that Universal didn't know what the fuck they wanted to do with him. They said, go do whatever you want. And we see how Hulk turned out. He is probably one of the most irrelevant characters in the MCU now. I'm sorry. They've made him a New York bro. He's a
joke now.
He's a fucking joke with now a permanently injured arm. Okay, whatever.
Is it permanently injured?
Yeah, it's permanently injured.
No, it'll be fixed.
I like the Hulk, honestly. I mean, I don't know why.
He's one of my favorites,
No,
but
but
what they did with him is he's so irrelevant now.
Let's just say he has potential to be more.
He's gotten beat up by everybody, and he's now made a side character for jokes. And I'm like,
Yeah, whereas before in the comics, it was almost like a rite of passage if you fought the Hulk.
what the comics? You like the first two Avengers films.
Well, that too. I'm
he
just
was
telling
dope
you-
in those
I'm just
movies.
telling you, like, for
Yeah.
comparison's sake, like, that's how
And that I get.
powerful the character was.
And so with Spidey, and I know a lot of people gonna hate me for this, but outside of Tom Holland's portrayal of Peter Parker, I really wasn't a big fan of Homecoming and Far From Home. I mean, they were
No,
decent
yeah.
films, but they weren't that great to me. You know, the stories were predictable.
I disagree too.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's fine. The
okay.
stories were predictable. The plots were meh. The supporting characters were all but forgettable. You know, and he just kind of happened to get in and out of situations. And I didn't see the other films really helping that out that much. And
Yeah.
with Disney wanting to take more control, Sony was like, no.
I personally don't like this incarnation of Spider-Man. As a Spider-Man fan, growing up, especially that character, to me, I always liked that. To me, he was always on his own. Because even when he was trying, for a while, he wasn't allowed to join the Avengers in the comics. The Fantastic Four wouldn't even let him join. So I always liked that he was kind of solo, but then also he has, I think, some people might disagree, but like next to Batman, at least for Marvel, he has the best lineup of villains, in my opinion.
His rogues are
Spider-Man.
dope.
Yeah, the Rogues Gallery.
dope.
Yeah, he's like one of the best. I don't know if it would be the best, but one of.
Yeah.
And I don't like that in the MCU when they did Far From Home, that they basically recycled like the
Mysterio
Iron Man.
Sucked.
They wrote Mysterio is one of the
Mysterio
best.
Sucked.
And
I'm sorry.
and what they did is
I disagree too.
That's great. We can disagree all day,
They
but
changed it towards like a tone. It was like an Iron Man movie, the way they set it up, where it wasn't even a true villain of Peter Parker. It was more of it's Tony Stark's villain, and you're getting the leftovers.
it's for me. I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it as much as I wanted to, and that's like I said, it's my opinion. I know a lot of people disagree with me, but y'all know I'll stand
They're
on the
not
line on my
trash. I mean, they're enjoyable.
Yeah.
They had their redeeming qualities, but to me, it could have been better.
And how that works with the deal is everyone's like, Sony's going to ruin it. I'm like, I don't know, because I know they're not going to make the Amazing Spider-Man 2 again. They're never going to do that because they know they fucked up. But the thing with this possible new deal is they're like, look, Disney, y'all can use our shit, but we still own it. And if you are going to use our shit, take some of our other characters. Like, take some of the Rogues, take Venom, take some of the other people that make Spidey have because to me, this new Spidey doesn't have enough weight.
No, he's too
Like,
innocent. He's like
all
a
of his
boy.
all of his weight deals with Tony Stark. You know, none of his weight really deals necessarily with just not Petey, with just Spidey and Pete. And I'm sorry, Mary Jane is so MJ. She's just non-really existent.
I don't get MJ.
Yeah.
Like in the movies, I'm like, I don't know why.
I don't like
And
how
then
she's
also
written.
Aunt May. Aunt May is one of his fucking foundations. She's just
Yes.
eye candy and a joke every now and again. I'm like, we need an Aunt May that actually is Peter's foundation. So I'm hoping that they can fix that, because that was one of the biggest things
She's
that
just
bothered
eye
me.
candy.
Well, that's one of the things that bothered me
So-
is because it's like, look,
I appreciate what you're saying.
yeah,
And so much, in fact, that to me, it felt like the ending of this last movie was kind of what that was leading into.
Far From Home.
I
you mean?
hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but I mean, what the fuck does that
I'll
even
say
mean
this.
now?
We got
That's
JJ
what-
back.
That's
Yeah.
why I was so pissed. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right. So now we found, okay, cool. We got the closure with Tony Stark and all that shit.
Yeah.
Spider-Man can finally be Spider. Never mind.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
and I'm hoping they
Fuck.
can fix that, because I would love to see Spidey. Because I mean, I'm sorry, the first three Spider-Man films, well, not really Spider-Man 3, but Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, the Raimi films. Those are still, in my opinion, some of the best
Same.
Spider-Man films.
I like
ever
two.
made.
Two is probably,
But-
I mean, outside.
yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
bro, I liked Far From Home. Like that,
I like
to
it.
me,
No,
as
it's not garbage.
as
I
a
just
Spider-Man
didn't enjoy it as
film,
much.
that was like also understand.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if it. A lot of people, I feel like a lot of people kind of feel like these movies. Oh, everything's got top. No.
And I don't think it
Why
needs
can't
to.
the movie just
Yeah.
be fucking good?
Yeah.
Why can't it just be enjoyable?
Yeah.
If I spent my money on this movie and I walked out like, goddamn, that was a dope movie,
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine. And it continues the narrative, and clearly
Yeah.
it was.
Mhm.
That's I'm fine. That's ace.
I
for
liked
me.
it better than Homecoming, and Homecoming kind of bugged me because they kept trying to do callbacks to the '80s films, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off
Yeah.
and 16 Candles, even. I just that took me out of the movie, like especially the Ferris Bueller coming back home scene where he's running across the houses. In fact, they even played that scene in a house. At the moment, the first time I see it, I laugh like, I see what you did there. But then when I watch it again, it's distracting me. Like, I want to see an original story. I don't want to see it copy something else.
For me, it just didn't hit me the way I wanted it to, and then I definitely hated what they've done with Nick Fury. He's now another Incredible Hulk. He's an incredibly irrelevant character now, because how do you go from being one of the most badass dudes in the movies and the comics to now you're just a disgruntled uncle missing his shoes on a battleship taking VR vacations? Like, that is not Nick Fury. I'm sorry.
Oh wait, but that's sword, isn't it? Like it's just like sword and shit. Look, you like, you know all this shit. I'm learning. I thought that
Nick
was
Fury. What makes Nick Fury is that he's next to the Punisher, one of the only humans that scares the fuck out of all the Avengers, and he stays badass all the time. And they're going to try to fix it with the next Doctor Strange movie by bringing in the original Nick Fury, because they realize they fucked up. But now, like, you look at his character now, and he got his eye scratched out by a cat, and not in war. I don't care if it's fucking Flurkin. They should have had him transform into a fucking Flurkin. That would have been more badass.
Even the name is funny.
If he would have had a fight with the damn Flurkin, and like something happened, I'm like, okay, it's not the origin. I don't need the origin, but at least that would have been more badass. But no, cat scratch, really? And a former desk jockey turned agent. Then now, after all this shit, now he's just taking vacations, can't find his shoes on the ship. And in a Hawaiian shirt.
if I'm taking a vacation in space, that's gonna be the
you
most
reminded me
badass
of?
shit I've ever done.
You know, you're right.
Nick Fury does it, it ain't shit apparently.
No, it's not.
You reminded me of with the beach. You reminded me of Wade from Kim Possible.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know. So I'm hoping that this new deal breeds something cool, because Phase 4 and Phase 5, I would not lie, I'm not that excited about. It's like all the things are coming out with the exception of Blade and maybe Doctor Strange 2 and some of the Disney Plus shows.
Guardians. I want to see how James Gunn finishes that.
I mean, Guardians is always going to be a high point, but it's like Phase 1 through 3, we were all like, everything that came out was like, yeah, this is
It was
cool.
all that kind of shit. Now that they're reaching a little deeper in the bag, and I think a lot of people like at surface level know about.
Yeah, but the thing is these are all characters that I actually love even more, because I grew up reading a lot of these characters before I got into, I guess you'd say, the main characters. But I don't know, it just doesn't seem to have the same feeling. Like, it just seems like some of the emotion with Phase 4 and Phase 5 isn't there like it was in Phase 2.
I don't think it could be.
Right,
True.
You have
the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
Well, then there's
12 years of
I'm
building a
looking
universe,
forward to-
literally.
Exactly.
I'm looking forward to the Thor Love and Thunder, but I'm bracing
Me
for
too.
impact, because some of the changes that are already announced, like, okay, let's see how you handle this.
I'm looking forward to that. I do want to see Natalie Portman wield the hammer.
Hell yeah.
She's not Thor.
No.
Get that right. She's not Thor. She's just worthy of the hammer. Stop calling her Thor. It's fucking stupid.
I thought anybody who wields the
they call
hammer
her
is
No,
Thor.
no, because Thor is a person. It's not a title.
Oh, so we're not calling Cap
Yeah,
Thor.
but because the only reason why they did that in the comics, they're doing in the movie, were to sell more comics. Because literally, Thor is literally his name. Like, you don't take his name, you just become worthy of the hammer.
Okay, fair enough.
You gain
fair
Thor's powers,
as
but
opposed to Jane Foster.
exactly. Yeah, you know, it's just like, no, it's Lady Thor.
The mighty
Sorry.
Jane
So in the I was gonna say, so in the comic books is
It's still Jane Foster, but the press release and the marketing was all female Thor, because they just wanted to
That's how you
bank
get
on
butts
that.
and seeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to bank off
but
that.
they just call her Jane
Yeah, she's
in
just
the
Jane,
comics
yeah.
where it's
Yeah.
even titled Thor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's just Jane Foster. But well, now in the comics she's Valkyrie, so she's just taking everyone's powers. But that's another story for another time. So
And
yeah,
don't get him started.
I don't know, right? So it's like, we'll see what happens.
I'm worried that with the next phase, like, I would consider myself more of a casual fan, because I'm still like getting into this. It's such a big
Yeah.
universe and it gets very overwhelming.
Yeah.
That as we get into all of these lesser known characters for like casual fans,
Yeah.
that we're heading towards a downhill slope.
Oh yeah.
Because obviously we don't have the same energy going into it. The producers, they're going to notice that they're not going to be as popular, and it's just the fact of things. People, they don't know these characters.
Right.
Where they're also pushing the agenda thing really, really hard, because in Disney's recent meeting, instead of them worrying about character stories, their biggest focus point is diversity. And the reason why that's such a big thing, because they're now looking to cast people of color for Professor X and Magneto.
Magneto, yeah.
And
I
Wolverine.
did hear that.
I'm kind of here for that.
And Wolverine. And well,
Maybe not Wolverine. but like-
This is my thing with it, because also it leads into another part of now we're going to get a black Batman and Bruce Wayne. And this is why I have a problem with all of these. When you're developing certain characters, race does matter. I get that. Okay, representation matters. Y'all know how I feel about that. But when you start to change characters that already exist as opposed to telling character stories that are already there, it's like, what are you exactly trying to do? We have plenty of people of color in these comics. Plenty. We even have we have 2 black Batman. Why don't you just develop their comics even further? We have David, I can never pronounce his last name, he's a dude in Africa, and then we have Duke Thomas.
Really?
They have both worn the cowl. They're both a part of Batman Incorporated. But we're going to make Bruce Wayne black? So are you going to change?
That's confirmed. They're trying to make Bruce Wayne black.
So it's like, are you going to change his backstory now?
Yeah, because that changes a lot.
Yeah,
because I'm like, he's from a rich, elitist, high-end family. And I'm just like, I don't know too many black people in the DC world that's a high elitist family at that period of time that also are crime fighters, have great relationships with the police.
Yeah.
That changes everything about Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it gets weird, because it's like, wait a minute. This is changing the entire origin of the character, as opposed to just telling the story of characters that already exist, or just creating a new character. Okay, how about we have a new Batman?
No, I feel like this is deja vu. We keep having this conversation over and
We
over
do,
again.
because it's like, why do they keep doing it? And it's just like,
because they don't get it.
Listen,
They're
only
after money. That's
solution-
it.
I'd say
We
the
have these
solution is
characters.
don't buy the comics, don't watch the
Don't
movies.
watch the
That's
movies,
the
yeah.
only thing that's going to take these
Speak
days.
with your dollars or lack
and
thereof.
you're gonna have to. And I don't know how I really feel about the Magneto and Professor X thing, because it's like they're already Jewish. So it's just like, now you want to either make them Asian, Hispanic, or black.
I think that they're
Black
trying to play
Jew-
off the whole
Black
Malcolm
Jewish,
X
you should've gone
and
like
the
Yeah.
thing, which I like that. I like the idea of it, but I'm kind of with you on that, where it's like these characters. I mean, the race.
Well, then fuck
especially
that. I
like,
want
it's
Channing
very
Tatum as
important.
War Machine.
Oh,
I mean,
might as well.
Just saying.
message. Magneto is literally, he was in Jewish internment camps. So you're just gonna say that whole backstory just doesn't matter anymore? Because now are we gonna make him a slave now?
Yeah.
Or are we gonna make him like a Mexican immigrant now? We're gonna put him in the Japanese internment camps now? Like, what is our end game? That's what I'm trying to understand. Like,
See what you did there.
hey, yeah, see, it's like I don't
appreciate
get
it.
it.
Yeah, totally.
You know, and
That's a big deal. Like, that's kind of why Magneto is how he. It's
Yeah.
like why he feels how he feels.
it changes his whole everything.
It's a
So
big
it's like,
deal.
are you going to give him a new origin now, or is he?
But then it's not really Magneto.
It's a new character. Yeah,
you
totally.
might as well just do a new fucking
Just write a
character.
new character.
a new
Totally.
character? This is
Give
like
the same damn powers. Just write a fucking cohesive story. For the
Well, and
love of God.
it's funny because, like, to piggyback on what both of you are saying here, it's like, well, so what does that say about us? Like, are we just in this day and age, we're just like, we don't know how to write new things. We'll just take this
Literally.
and change it. Like,
Literally.
are we just too inept? I don't know. Comic book
No, no.
artists,
So
what the
look,
fuck?
here's the
I don't
other
think it's
thing,
got
too.
anything to do with the net. Clearly, these people are, like you said, they're after money.
Yeah.
So new things are much harder to sell than already established shit,
That's
even
it.
if it's tweaked. They're way more willing to take a shot in
They're
the
going
dark
after the dollar.
at doing that
Yeah.
dumb shit
Yeah.
than actually
The other
like
thing
taking
I
a
don't
gun.
like, it's like almost a game of numbers here now. Like,
Oh,
okay, now
absolutely,
every
yeah.
single hero has to either be black or a woman.
Yeah,
So we're gonna do that, but then
they're
I
gonna
feel
burn,
like
they're gonna shoot that to death
this
too.
comes down to almost like basic morality. Treat the people the way you want to be treated. So you don't like that there are like hardly no roles for women, but now you're gonna have it where there are hardly no roles for men.
Well, no, because what they do is they say, well, the only way we can make a good female character is by having her replace a male. But I'm like, what does that say about what you think about women? That they're not good enough to do it on their own? They have to replace somebody else?
Yeah, you can't write a decent woman. Like that's all you have is just
No, but
to
there's
replace them.
there's some people who have the viewpoint that no, we should have all of these male characters replaced for women. That's what I mean. Like it's hypocritical.
Well, that's literally one of their actual goals that they discuss in
That's
their
what I'm
big
telling
meeting.
you.
And at D23, there's like, well, we're going to change genders of a lot of characters, including Nova.
Mm-hmm.
Nova might be a woman now. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our top news of the day. So,
Damn, that was just the news. Hold on. Let me take a hat break.
case you can't tell, it's hot in here.
Yeah, it's a little warm.
On a quick note too, by the way, I just wanted to point this out because my girlfriend Marguerite and I were watching. We just rewatched the entire MCU.
Nice.
We just finished
Wow.
Endgame.
Nice.
We started months ago.
Okay.
So it was a slow drip.
Slow drip.
But
slow drip.
Like an IV.
yeah, and as we were watching this, like especially with Endgame, where like Tony talks to his dad in the past and everything.
Aww.
Spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
I love that scene.
There's a lot that I don't like. I get why this is sort of eclipsed by all the other stuff, you know, like Captain Marvel, Black Panther, etc. Yeah. So my girlfriend Marguerite and I, we were powering through the MCU again and over the past few months. And one of the things that I really like noticed, especially having watched them just boom, 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 like a TV series, basically. Yeah. Like when you're just watching it all and it's like all fresh in your memory from like start to finish. Like one of the things that I really noticed about the MCU that I like as a white male, like one of the things that I noticed was there's a lot of like subtle emphasis on white male characters sort of acknowledging the folly in their ways and trying to better the generation after them. You know, like I noticed Tony with Pete is the obvious one, but even like Odin with Thor and Loki, and like Steve with even like Wanda, like trying to be like, look, man, just you got to be yourself, and you love who you are, and it definitely, I think for me it was something, because I get like I would get like very emotional like in some of those scenes, not like oh my god, why does nobody talk about this, but just kind of like, oh god, it's so nice seeing this. And I never really understood like why it hit me so hard, and it's because as a white male in my 30s and like kind of looking at how I was raised and like how my dad was and how our dads are sometimes, it's like trying to just kind of do better than our parents and the generation before us. And that's like something that it's like, beyond just Tony Stark's a white guy, Thor's a white guy, Cap's a white guy. It's like, but there's more to them than just that. And I think the dynamic that they have with the father or the parental figures above them.
But the key word you said there was subtle. It was laid into the storytelling, which is why it worked so well. And when you look at good stories, whether it's comic book, whether it's TV, whether it's film, whatever, they put those lessons in, but they let it just ride. It's not, look, we did a thing. Look, we did a thing. Look, you see it? You see it? And it's like...
So speaking directly to that, is it because they don't have the sort of like introspective experience to kind of do it right with everything else, or they just don't give a fuck?
It's definitely the second one, and I'll add to the don't give a fuck. It's what it is as a society, we have to educate everyone because everyone is stupid and they won't get it on their own. And even if they do get it on their own, we're not satisfied until we've platformed it. And we see that with so much of our content, no matter what it is. It's just like, look, you have to make sure we know you see this. It's like, we do see it, but now you just took us out of the experience because we was riding with you. We were with you. This is dope. And then you had to put up a billboard. And we go.
Yeah, but there actually I have two observations. One, all of that means nothing for Gamora, Star-Lord, or even Hope Van Dyne. Number two, I just realized with the casting for Magneto, what does that mean for Scarlet Witch?
Oh boy. Oh yeah.
Well, I have an answer for that. But multiverse.
Well, and besides that, she's not technically Magneto's daughter.
Exactly.
Anyway, she's a Hydra experiment.
Yeah, they're changing. They're changing a lot of that.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly complicates things.
and what they're going to be doing, especially with Doctor Strange too, is they're going to be filling a lot of plot holes because they were trying to figure out how to introduce X-Men and how to introduce. Well, they're not going to be X-Men now. They're going to be called something else that's more politically correct. Yes. Another episode, another day. I know.
Term I think they're already using. I just don't remember.
Gross.
Inhuman.
Yeah.
But the Inhumans are like a
different
whole other.
No. The Inhumans are coming back, but the X-Men are going to have a completely different name because they don't want to call it X-Men. That's a story another day. But how they're going to service that is you're going to now have different versions of a lot of characters. and you're going to have obviously the ultimate multiverse versions.
I mean, that's how it is in the comic book.
Exactly.
Are we
Yeah.
gonna get Storm and Wakanda?
We don't know. We don't know yet because they're not going to be messing with. Well, actually, by the time Black Panther 2 comes around, we could get the X-Men finally here, but we see what they do. But it's just, I'm honestly nervous because some of the changes they're making are just unnecessary. And it's like you said, what made phase 1 through 3 so powerful is up until the end of phase 3, when they just started billboarding things, a lot of things were just subtle. It was just, you saw the growth of these characters and the effect that they had, and even the stories of these people and their own personal growth, the growth around them, and you didn't have to talk about it because you saw it, you felt it, it was there. And I'm like, that's how we tell good stories. We don't have to say, hey, look, we just did a thing. Did you guys see it? It's like,
you don't need to show. Why do you think like classic like horror films, suspense films were so good back then? Is because it left it to your imagination, and that made it even better.
It allowed you to think. That's the big thing. It allowed you to think, and instead of having to tell everyone everything, and that's where a lot of our content, unfortunately, is going to, where it's like, we don't need you to think. We just need to tell you what it is, but it's like, how am I supposed to enjoy this?
Yeah. I definitely don't like that. I don't like that. It just really, like, it cheapens things.
Yeah.
Like, it makes it feel just like, gee,
It's
thank
diluted.
you. Thank you for letting me know, because I don't know if I'd have got that super glaringly obvious thing otherwise. Thank you for that.
And it just, I'm hoping that it changes, but what's up?
And this is why we turn to fan fiction.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
I
true,
will definitely say this, with all the fandoms that I have been in, like, we ride the whole, the fact that we have fan fiction, so we can like fix those glaring glaring problems, or like the obvious pandering. It's just
Until Star Wars and Ryan Johnson. Sorry.
Shots fired.
But like you can get that subtlety when you look something up in fan fiction. People, they get to write that in for the characters that are not getting it, because we do see it with Tony Stark and Captain America, and we love that shit because it reads almost like a fan fiction. But then everyone else gets fucking shafted, so it's like, all right, to the internet.
Yeah, it's I don't know. That's just me, which actually leads us to our top subject of the day, which is called depression in the geek community. Now, the reason why I want to talk about this is just kind of putting my own self out there. Is for the last couple of weeks, I've dealt with a lot of massive depression, and I've dealt with understanding what that means for me now, and not only being a geek, but also being a dad now, because I had an episode where I had blacked out and I was holding my son, and I ended up on the floor and didn't know what had happened to him. And what I had realized was that how we handle depression in the geek community has not only not evolved, but it's become almost dangerous within ourselves. And when you look at the geek community as a whole, the depression is almost hand in hand with our fandom and how we deal with things. When you look at cosplay, when you look at anime, when you look at the shows that we watch, the comics that we read, how we want to view ourselves. And we mainly put ourselves in a position of being someone who is not us. That's just how we are. We have people who think of themselves as superheroes. We have people who think of themselves as villains. People who think of themselves as these characters that they've created, and how those journeys speak to them on the inside. So what I really want to talk about right now is, how do we all find our ways of dealing with our depression and how it relates to our fandom?
Ways of dealing with depression, deal with our fandom. Well, for me, I guess, I mean, being like a game geek as well, like I play a lot of fighting games. If any of you guys have tuned into the show, you've heard me talk about it ad nauseum. So, one thing that I found that I did that really helped me through a lot of really tough times with depression and things like that, was I stopped trying to become like, I stopped putting as much emphasis on competing, and I started coaching a lot of players.
Okay.
So not necessarily with the intent of getting them even up to like winning tournaments and stuff. I mean, unless they wanted to, but I found that like when I just kind of stepped away and stopped putting myself as like the focus, and like helping other people with struggles that I was like, I know for a fact I can help you with this.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even that hard. I can really get you through this. And then like seeing other people, I found a lot of fulfillment in like seeing other people get stronger. Like not just stronger, but like stronger than me as a result of my help. That was a big deal for me, and it made me want to kind of delve into my own struggles a little more, because a lot of people were vulnerable enough to allow me to see their vulnerabilities. So it made me very, very empathetic. I would say my empathy levels have increased significantly. It's like, you know, empathy, serotonin, and empathy, you know, and so it just kind of...
He was a robot.
Yeah. Increasing empathy levels now. I feel for all of you! So, that like really helped me. I mean, I would say that's like the biggest thing that's like helped me is just coaching others with specifically like playing Street Fighter. Okay. Things like that, so, yeah.
Damn.
So this has specifically dealing with depression in our fandom, right? Mm-hmm. It's because it's funny because I used to use films as an escape to help me overcome depression. Now I'm more of a like, you know, I work out or I'll meditate or write, or I'm a writer. I'll do something because I see emotions as energy and I just try to transfer it to something else. But I'll be vulnerable that there was a point in my life where I was very physically ill. I had anxiety, depression. I was suicidal as well. And what saved me was film, but it was a specific series of films by Guillermo del Toro. And I was going through a period in my life where I had no creativity. I couldn't think. I was very numb. And I saw the ad for Hellboy 2. And for some reason, I just thought, that looks cool. And then that, like, it kind of, like, rebooted my system where I was like, ooh, like, yeah, you're thinking, your mind's going. There's this imagination here before your eyes. And that's where I dove into, like, Pan's Labyrinth and Kronos and Devil's Backbone, all his films. And I would play his movies with the commentary on repeat. I would fall asleep to them. And that was my recovery because the messages in his films, to me, were like a form of self-help that... you know, in his films, a running theme is that the monsters are more human than the humans. And that there's beauty and ugliness, that you can be imperfect, and yet there is this grace to it. And I started connecting the dots and realizing there's something, you know, special about me that I deserve to live, and that I could overcome my depression. So his films really are what saved me from wanting to end my life and wanting to literally just deteriorate, because that was what was happening to me, just mind, body, and spirit. I was just wasting away. So in terms of fandom, back then, that is what saved me at the right time. So I think it changes, but my concern though, like you said, is there are people who create like a reality and they're the hero of the reality, which is fine, but what happens is they can't separate reality from fantasy. There was actually a short film I saw. It was like an animation someone made on YouTube. Look it up. It's called The Rendezvous. And that one kind of broke my heart. It's this girl who you could tell lives in this abusive family, and she would go to bed each night and she would dream, and there would be a stranger coming to the dream. And she becomes addicted to this reality where this is the only person that shows any love for her, that sees the beauty in her. And I won't spoil the ending, but there's a lot of symbolism in there. And what I worry is we'll get a lot of people having their own rendezvous if they don't realize that it's great to have comics, it's great to look up to heroes, to have video games and movies, but you still gotta remember there's a whole world out there, and it's not gonna stop for you. You need to learn to adapt in it. You don't have to necessarily learn to be the world, but you need to learn to be in the world.
For real.
So I suppose my experience, I guess, is kind of it's similar to both of you guys. So just a slight aside here, like I remember watching my dad and my stepmom kind of go through some shit. They broke up, and like my dad, it was my PlayStation. That's why this is relevant to this conversation. But my My dad had, what was it, NCAA 03 or something like that. I watched this man beat the brakes off of this game. I've never seen a football game beaten so utterly completely to the point where like the announcers would stop announcing scores because that was all he could do. He just needed something to kind of focus on to keep from losing his mind when everything else around him was falling apart. I had that very same experience maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Living in a pretty much empty apartment, relationships going to shit. Voiceovers kind of at a standstill. And I'm like, what have I fucking done? I have come out here and like, negative self-talk's a motherfucker.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
Because not only was I dealing with my shit, but I've got these voices in my head telling me, you have let your friends down. You came out here with your girlfriend or your fiance. You came out here with your friend. And you have utterly and completely let them down. You are fucking worthless. You are worthless. And it was all I could do to just not let those voices, just kind of permeate and take over. I had to find something to do. I remember my dad playing that football game, and there was a game series that I purchased, Dark Souls.
Yes.
Dark Souls saved my life because, like you, I was kind of at that point. I'm like, you know what sounds good? The pavement. The pavement sounds real good. I could go out on the balcony and jump off. That's Laurel Canyon. It'll be fine.
It would not have been good for him. We were only like the second floor.
No, third floor.
Would have
No, it'd have been bad.
been like, you fucking moron. You're going to break your leg. Go to the top.
Oh, I was
With instructions.
You think.
With instructions. I mean, it's real.
I mean, at this point, I'm like, go to top of building.
Make sure to get the spleen.
I was there. I mean, but sometimes, I wasn't being given opportunities with which to, like, situations in which I was capable of winning. So I'm like, all right, well, fuck it. I'm not doing anything else. I didn't even know. I don't even really know why I chose that game. I think I just needed a challenge, something that I hadn't done before that I could just kind of grind away at. And like my dad playing an NCAA game, Dark Souls kind of gave me a challenge. It's like, it's going to beat my ass. It can't do shit to me that life hasn't already done to me.
Yeah.
So there's nowhere to go but up. So kind of just the repetition of going through those situations, those unchanging situations. Dark Souls is motherfucking life.
Yeah.
Like in video game form. Because it's like, you get up. That's your challenge.
Yep.
If you don't win the challenge, it's still there the next time. Yep. Except now you get to try over and over and over again. You realize that you're not worthless. You just got to pay attention to the little details. You're not worthless. It could be worse. There are people who don't even have this. And they are going through worse than what you're going through. You kind of learn to pick yourself up and you just keep going because that's all you got. It's all you got.
Yeah, there's similar stories to yours on YouTube of people talking about Bloodborne and Dark Souls.
And then I found those, and it all suddenly made sense. And the worst, I won't say the worst part about it, but I come from a very, very Christian family, so
I relate. As a
trying to open up about this stuff online, it's everyone because they're Christian and they're very private. So for me to be talking about suicide and things like this online got me a lot of flack. Because a lot of people didn't understand that me talking about something called Dark Souls. They thought I joined some sort of cult or, I was like conversing with demons or something.
The devil is a lie.
Right, that's pretty much what I was getting.
Oh, yeah.
I'm having to explain to people like this is not what you think. And then kind of getting shades of whatever back from that. So it was, even with that, it wasn't easy. So I'm not going to take up all this conversation. It's a lot. It's very
preacher.
I don't want to look. I'm not trying to preach. I'm just saying it's very personal to me because literally I wouldn't be here without that. So I apologize for taking up all of your time. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for
I
sharing.
will.
He's so gracious. Don't you just love him?
Thank you.
All right, so my experience is actually less with what is put out there and more with the people of fandom. So I'm a post-traumatic stress disorder onion.
Yeah.
Like it's to the point that I actually have a severe emotional disconnect with what happened to me. That like my therapist is just like, wow, that's terrifying. So like growing up, I needed escapes from a lot of different stuff. And for me, that was always anime.
Yeah.
And, you know, we always, you know, a lot of people, especially creative people, like I'm an artist, you know, find me online, et cetera, et cetera. Like I started making characters. That was the first anime drawing I ever did. I drew Naruto and then I drew myself as a ninja. Cause my escape was seeing myself outside. It was doing these cool things, you know, and just being somebody. And, you know, you had your Mary Sue, your overpowered characters. Everybody starts with those. It's fun. Just do it. I promise you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
And as I got older and finally like got to the internet, as well as, you know, like meeting my first best friend, it was creating content for myself and with other people. That was my escape. That was how I kept going. Was, you know, it didn't matter what could happen in the series. I also not only had that, but I had what me and my friends were creating. And I always had that throughout my entire life. I've just gone through fandom. Like now I'm on 2 Discords and it's all just people creating shit because we can. And especially recently, I have been very lucky with all the stuff that I do have. Depression did not finally hit me until a couple months ago, just before my 26th birthday. And like I had always been empathetic to people who had depression. Like I've heard all the stories. That was another thing about, you know, being in these fandom and creative groups is we talk about this stuff and very open, you know, honest communication. And you know, depending on which group you are, I'm either the youngest or the oldest. So like there's one Discord that I was in where I was the youngest, and then right now there's one where I am literally the oldest. It's fucking terrifying because I'm just like, I need to protect all of you. I know you're watching right now. I love all of you. Cheese cube, you know what I'm talking about. When I was going through all of that, you know, and I wasn't suicidal, but all I want to do was lay down and just stop. Like I'd be literally walking down the street and just like, I don't want to move anymore. And it was terrifying because I hadn't experienced that before. No. Like I probably had like mild depression bouts, but just with all of my issues, like I've been lucky. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of things in my life I've been severely lucky for everything I've gone through. But I had no outlet. No, like my friends could only understand to a point. Like they had their own issues, but like I didn't know how to handle it. But what I had that creative escape with my friends. We were doing role plays and creating characters. Like there's one server, it's for a video game that we don't even talk about the original characters hardly anymore. We have like over 300 original characters. We just spout them off every day. And it was just that, it's the fandom and the people. Like even if I don't stick with them forever, they always bring me out. And now that I've like had that experience with older people, we've had, you know, all that talking repertoire, I can bring that into new conversations so I can help other people. Like I'm in a really good place now because, you know, I'm taking my medicine, you know, getting therapy, take your meds, in case you forgot, just saying, take them. Like I'm in such a better place now, and it's, I can use that experience to talk to other people, especially because I'm meeting people who don't have resources, they don't have therapy, they don't have understanding families. Like that for me, fandom, it's the community part of it. That has that has built my life as it is, because they are my family, because I don't have any other family right now. Like it's them, and like people say, you know, online relationships and friendships, they're not real or they're not as strong, and I call that horseshit. No, man. They are some of the best friendships, even if they don't last. And you know, all friendships last, and that's fine. It's real. Yeah. But they can still be incredibly impactful and incredibly meaningful. Yeah. And
sometimes we make friends like right when we need them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and not everybody's meant to kind of ride with you that entire journey.
No.
So.
Yeah. But you get that little bit of light from each other.
Yep.
And like that's my experience with mental illness, depression, and fandom as a whole, because the majority of the people that I meet on there have something.
Yeah.
And I like being that person going, hey, no, this is a good space for you. And I'm gonna make sure it stays a good space.
Nice. So what do you think we as leaders can do to further help people, not only communicating and talking about it, but addressing some of the issues within the community, in terms of how people handle their depression? Because with all the things that are good about it, there are things about it that are not so good in terms of, since, of course, the geek community, I guess you can say, is now mainstream, there's been a lot of poison that's come out of it, and insecurity is running at an all-time high.
Yes, it is.
And it's popular now. Like it's crazy that insecurity is popular now. And how do we address that and try to build some solutions on fixing some of those problems that has poisoned our community?
Stop with the hot takes and actually have conversations.
Yeah, that's
with people.
a big
Meaningful conversations.
Real talks.
Meaningful conversations. Meaningful conversations.
Quit it with the cancel talk.
I've seen people like in the comment section literally responding to someone else's comment, telling them shut up.
Why? Yeah.
That's like the most mild thing I've heard. I have gotten.
No, I've seen worse,
comments.
but like there are people like literally asking others to be silent. Like your opinion doesn't matter, your voice doesn't matter. This is an open forum.
Yeah.
Somebody did point out, and this was on Tumblr. Somebody pointed out a really good example of what happens with a lot of people, and it's a feeling of helplessness. Like especially in our world today, things are fucking batshit crazy, and it's terrifying. And there's a lot of people who are, because of their life or whatever, they can't do anything about it. They like the most they can do is go vote, but that's they can't go march and protest. They can't go save the world, be heroes, etc., etc. And so that creates a frustration, and suddenly you don't have control. And their example was of people who are homeless. They go in and they trash public facilities. And it's not because they are ungrateful. It is because the destruction brings them a sense of self-control, of control over their environment. It's that desperate need to feel like they have something. And that's why they destroy it. Now, when you come to people online, what they have is little accountability. And they see people, especially content creators, you're within reach. I can hurt you. I can have control. And that's where a lot of it comes from. And I've seen it taken to a degree of there was one person I was making a whole bunch of stuff with, and they're a very good person. And then I could see that they were getting antsy about the world around them, and then decided that an alien who was played by a white guy was suddenly the exact same as a black person. And if you thought he was hot, you were fetishizing black people, and within 2 days jumped off the deep end. She was white. There was no reason for it. It made no sense. But I already had heard that analogy, and I recognized that she wanted to feel in control, and that was the easiest way to do it, was to hurt people. So if you're somebody who does call out, if you're somebody that if you're feeling uncomfortable right now with what I'm saying, that's probably because you recognize that you're doing this. It's okay. Take a breath. That's these are things that you do have control over. You have control over yourself. You have control over what you're saying and doing. Take a step back. Ask yourself, who is this helping? And if it's just making you feel good, then you're not helping people. There are so many things you can do that you don't even realize. Look up, what can you do from home? There's so many little things that you can find out to help bring you a little bit of calm. One of them is get off the internet, because you're
Get off.
Yes, just
Please.
basically do the internet detox. Get to know the world around you, because you're losing it.
Get outside.
And that's what I was
There's
saying
life outside
earlier
your
about
apartment.
people losing their sense of reality, that they're stuck in this.
Go to your
fantasy.
locals, as they say.
Now,
Support your
now
locals.
the other thing though is
Seriously,
causes is that sometimes people, when they want to look for meaning, they try to join causes. For instance, a lot of people become vegan because they think that they're helping the environment, that they're going to save the world. you can agree or disagree on the quality of a vegan diet, but a lot of people join the vegan movement because they feel like they at least have some control and that they can make a difference. They'll do that, but on the flip side, you also have people joining these political groups on Facebook, and I won't name names, but you see some radical thoughts online, and there are groups that come together to share in that, and they decide to take that out on the streets and act upon it. And that's where things become dangerous.
Well, I think one of the biggest things that I have, the biggest issue with our community, because it's a lot of things, and I've voiced them quite a bit online, but it's the mentality that the geek culture itself has become the new jock culture.
Yeah.
The bullied have become the bullies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that, sure.
Yeah, have become the oppressors. And you guys heard me voice this many times on other subjects, is how do we fix a problem by doing the exact same thing that caused the problem in the first place?
Yeah.
And it really hurts me because I've been attending conventions since I was probably about 10 years old. I've been working conventions since I was about 16. And now when I attend conventions, if I attend conventions, because if I'm not working or doing something there, I try to stay away from them. I see so much of this culture of I have to be better than you, and I have to put you down in order to be better, or else I dominate you.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
And it's like
this entitlement.
And the thing that really hurts me that I think we should really address is what's behind that. And what's behind that is the same thing that was behind the jock culture: insecurity.
Yes.
To me, the biggest disease we have ever faced as a human race is insecurity. Because insecurity will make us do some crazy shit.
Crazy shit.
It'll make us do some crazy shit.
It'll let people convince you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you'll have people that will build these masks and build these realities about themselves because they're really afraid that it's just like, people, this is not okay. This is not okay behavior. And it's turned into call-out culture. It's turned into cancel culture. It's turned into shaming or anti-shaming culture. It's turned into strong political culture because everyone has to feel like if you're not a part of some group, and if you're not on somebody's team, then something's wrong with you. Yeah. And you have to be on my team.
Yeah.
No,
you're with me or you're them.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's no longer in a world where we can have multiple teams and everyone can have, their own group. It's no, you have to be a part of my group or else. And it's this crazy flip that we've gotten to, and I hate this excuse I hear from people from certain groups saying that, well, it has to be this way because that's how we correct the courts. And I'm like, no, that's how we got here. It's not going to be we go one extreme and then we go the other extreme and then we'll just find balance. It's like, no, we have to seek balance from the fucking beginning. Because
otherwise it's only going to get more and more.
Well,
it's just going to keep doing this.
That's what's happening with the women in Hollywood right now. We were talking about this
Very
the other
much
night,
so.
that some of these projects coming out with female-led characters that are not going to do well, and what's going to happen with the executives? They're going to tighten the belt, and now actually women will be getting fewer roles because they're not profitable.
The executive's going to be like, this ain't making money. Your agenda didn't work. Because I'm sorry, Hollywood doesn't care about your agenda. They care about your dollar. And, and the only reason why they're doing this diversity agenda is because it's profitable right now. Yep. They don't care about an actual change. No. Just know that now, because guess what? Even though you have all these female-led and people of color, guess who's writing the checks? Old white dudes. Mm-hmm. Okay? Old white dudes. And when it comes to the geek community, guess who's controlling things? Geeks who used to be bullied who are now in control.
So that's why we say, please vote with your dollar. If you're not happy that we're getting these gender or race changes, then don't buy a ticket to the theater. Don't buy the comic.
What also starts with us, again, trying to seek balance. We have to understand not only why this is happening, but then look for actual solutions. And solutions can't always be so black and white, because we don't live in a black and white world.
Right.
There's a color spectrum for a fucking reason. This was gross, by the way. Yeah, what the fuck that was. And it's like, we can't say that you either have to be this or this for things to be right, because the world doesn't work that way. And realizing that the world works in colors, it works in shades, it works in the dark space. Shades. Yeah, shades.
It's the magic word.
It's like, that's the thing. It's just like,
I got some shade for you.
Right. And it's like, understanding that will actually help, because it's just like, just because you have an opinion does not make it fact,
Oh my
number
God, yes.
one. And then number two, just because someone has a different opinion does not either make them wrong or the devil.
Stop being
They're not your enemy.
being so attacked because they feel differently than you.
Yes.
Right? Oh, God.
Like, talk about it rather than being like, stop clutching your damn pearls and just talk.
Yeah,
Talk.
like,
Also, you
Figure
think
out
like,
why
oh, you're
they feel
gonna
the way
be in
they
my
feel.
mind all day? No, if we got into an argument, doesn't mean I hate your guts. I
Right.
just
I'll give you a perfect example. One friend of mine, I won't mention her name. She's pretty damn conservative, and she calls herself the political vixen. We get into these pretty darn heated debates online about political stuff and basically about race and white privilege because she really thinks that all black people just don't try hard enough.
Oh boy.
But the funny thing about it is, at the end of every conversation, we end up laughing because we're just like, you know what, we still care about each other. And I'm like, and if a black dude from Oakland and a white girl that migrated to the Bay Area, you know, who thinks that, you know, people of color should try harder and her life was hard just because her rich boyfriend left her, you know, can actually not kill each other while having some pretty heated conversations, I think all of us can do that.
There is always common. We are human beings at the end of the day. There is always common ground. I got to eat and shit and go and buy shit to eat.
Right?
That shit.
Vicious cycle.
we
Come
all
on.
we all have basic needs, and we know we have an election coming up, and this country is more divided now than ever. Yeah, but it's true though that, you know, things are getting really ugly politically, and just a side note, America, that's what our enemies want.
Yeah, man.
That's the big thing about it. It's
Sometimes
like
the enemies are real close.
it's like we can't win, and bring this back to the geek community. It's like, how do you expect the geek community to continue to win if all we do are doing are fighting? And you're saying you're not liking what we're being given, but guess what? We're not actually voting with our dollar. We're not actually voting with common sense and actual words instead of yelling and ranting and being stupid. And they're giving us whatever the hell they're giving us. They're doing whatever the hell they want. The reason why Comic-Con keeps costing the money that it does, because we keep fucking paying it. The reason why they won't move to another, you know, venue that's actually more conducive for humans not getting hit by cars and being stuck in traffic for 2 hours is because we keep supporting it. It's because we won't find a commonality to come together and say, let's actually make a difference. I tell y'all, this is gonna sound real controversial for y'all, but learn something from the Trump supporters. Because they all came together to vote for this dude, even though they all don't like each other. They all said, let's get this win. And they put their shit aside for a minute and they made it happen. And that's one of the problems that we have with the Democratic Party is because the Democratic, they spend so much fighting each other that we couldn't even get a fucking win. And so geek community, pay attention. Learn something.
But also, even if just because you disagree with someone does not mean they're a monster.
I mean, basically.
That right there.
Basically.
That right there. Those Trump supporters that a lot of like you know, the lefties or libs or whatever you want to call them like to demonize, they are people too. One of the best things, I'm so glad my mom sent me to go live in my okay, so I'm from Detroit. But I lived for about 10 years in central Illinois, which is the polar opposite. And I'm so glad I did that. I'm so glad I decided to stay because one of the things, perspective. You get to understand that not only are these are people that you have a lot in common with. And even though they feel differently about these other things, you can come together on the common ground and see that they are human beings, not monsters. They're not terrorists. They just want to live life just like you do. We need to start. That should be the ground floor.
The basis. That should just be step one. Hi, how are you? I like to eat and shit and fuck too.
Because that's what we're doing. We're just getting further and further and further and making it harder to have these
Oh,
conversations.
it's the internet because we'll just block people and cut them off and just stop.
You're completely defeating the purpose.
Yeah.
We're going to continue getting exactly what we have.
Yeah.
The more you do that, the more you just kind of just sequester yourself off from the things that are causing you grief.
Just try not to be a dick.
Yeah.
Because it's not glorious and it doesn't make you feel good like I blocked them with my opinion on it. At the end of the day, what does it really serve outside of your small ego and insecurity? And what does it actually help? Because does it get you what you want? Think on that and be better. And on that point, y'all know what time it is, folks. For my trivia bitches! I'm ready.
Everyone's so excited.
Yeah, y'all very excited. Come on, my Vanna White, I need my marshmallows. Yeah.
Marshmallows.
Marshmallow.
Did you text
Chris ain't been here for a while, so you kind of forgot. No, I didn't text you. I'm looking right at you. Fuck 'em. We're gonna do what the kids do nowadays, having a conversation in a circle, looking right at each other. Really? You gonna do that shit? You couldn't even just break it out the package.
Do we have like
couldn't
a
you?
bucket nearby?
You couldn't even just ghetto
We
as
need
fuck.
a bucket.
No, we're gonna need more on the next one. Don't worry about that. All right.
Now we need a bucket.
So, full mouth trivia for the newbies and for those who haven't seen us in a while. Rules go as follow. I will ask a series of multiple choice questions, and you will pick a letter. If you get the answer correctly, you don't have to put food in your mouth. If you get the answer incorrectly, you have to put the food in your mouth, but you cannot chew or swallow. It has to stay in your mouth to the end of the game. Are we ready?
Yes.
I'm screwed.
Oh, yes, you are. Here we go. Are you ready? This is
Welcome
going
to
to
the
be
club.
fun. Welcome to
For all
the
you guys
club.
at home, play along with us.
So this
Yeah.
is kind of mixed trivia, but it's a lot of fun. And I actually did a lot of research on this because I even was surprised with some of the answers. So I'm going to see how many of you guys get right.
Just disclaimer, people at home, please don't just play along. Don't do this.
don't do
'cause
this.
we
You
ain't
can
trying to.
swallow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we ain't gonna be liable for your shit. Okay, if you die, you're stupid. I'm sorry. There we go.
Oh, no, no.
Why they got to be? I mean,
They have to deal with God when they get up there. Because
Oh, yeah,
Peter
yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
at the gate and just go say. That's all that's gonna happen.
What the hell are you doing up here? Satan laughed at me, wouldn't let me in.
Exactly. I like that. I'm gonna use that one. All right, question number 1. How many live action Spider-Man appearances have there been? Is it A5, B15, C11, D16, or E7? He's really counting. Come on.
I'm just trying to think about it. Give me the options and numbers real quick.
A5, B15, C11, D16, or E7?
11, whatever
Okay.
11 was.
Was it 15?
Okay.
11.
I'll say 11.
Okay. The answer is B15. Everybody else put food in your mouth. There you go.
15.
Yeah. He's been appearing in movies since 1979. No,
Okay,
1969.
That makes
Oh,
sense.
yeah.
Brian was
Yeah.
not the first.
Oh, no. Nowhere near. Nowhere near. All right. Here we go. Here's another one. How many live action Superman appearances have there
Oh,
been?
fuck.
Is there A13, B11, C9, or D15?
That's what I'm saying, 15.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying 15 again.
11.
Okay. Everybody's wrong. It's 13. There you go. Come on. Put food in your mouth.
I didn't think that I heard 13.
I didn't heard that.
Yeah.
Can you
I didn't say
name them all?
813.
Because
That was the first
those
one.
are the black and white ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because remember, the black and white one only had
Oh
one
my
movie
God,
the rest of
they're
the
so
series.
good. I fucking love Marshmallow.
All right, here we go. How many live action Batman appearances have there been? Is it A12, B17, C18, or D22?
22.
18.
17.
17, she got it right. Everybody else put food in your mouth. There's only been
As
17.
long as we keep up with the marshmallows for full mouth, like, I'm fine losing.
He's good with it. He's good with it. All right. Wow. All right, question number 4. How
Chris
old?
knows.
I know, right? How old was Aang when he died in Avatar: The Last Airbender? Was he? He like, fuck this shit. Oh God. Was he A100? Was he B89, C92, or D166?
Man, I do 92.
Wait, what?
Was it A100, B89, C92, or D166? Pick a number.
Something in the hundreds.
Huh?
Something in the hundreds.
Then pick one.
Something there again.
100, 89, 92, or 166?
100.
100? Okay.
Not applicable. I'm
There you go.
89?
Everybody's wrong. It's 166 because he had spent 100 years in the iceberg. He
Oh.
had actually died at 66 from progressed age after he became an avatar. Woo! Last question. Now, if you guys get this one wrong, I am disappointed in all of you. In My Hero Academia, what does the term plus ultra mean, and
Oh,
where is it from? Does it mean ultimate and from Japan? Does it mean to win above all and from America? Does it mean further beyond from Spain? Or does it mean to be the best and, of course, America?
The one from Spain.
Okay?
I know.
That sounds like a Spanish thing for sure.
See?
I'm gonna say Spain because I've never seen it.
And surprisingly, everybody got that right. It does mean further beyond, and it is from Spain. It is actually one of their quotes, and is in some of their political materials. So, guys, thank you very much for playing Full Mark Trivia and joining in on the show. You guys are awesome. I'm so glad to have you guys back. Tune in next week for our very special episode that is basically going to be a Try Not to Laugh challenge. We will see you guys next week. Thank you to Chris, to Jason, to Mike, to Sam, to Julian, to Elizabeth. Welcome. Thank you, girl, for being our awesome guest. To Jason at Binary, to Bill, wherever the hell you are, Fonco, and everyone at Fonco Studios. You ain't gotta go home, but you gotta get the hell up out of here. Peace! Y'all didn't do bad. Y'all didn't do bad at all.
I got a big mouth.